Alrighty, yo, what is going on everybody? It's your boy Mr. DDG94 back with another reaction video. Today we're going to react to the truth about Tupac and Haitian Jack. We're going back through our Tupac lore. We ain't done no Tupac lore in a minute, man. It's been a long time since we did some Tupac lore, and what better way to start off than with this Haitian piece of shit right here. But anyway, so without further ado, man, let's get right into it, man. R.I.P. to Pac. You already know, man. We go through this Tupac lore. You know I do this because I'm a big Tupac fan. You already know. You already know. I got y'all. So without further ado, let's get right into it.
Friendship of Haitian Jack and Tupac Shakur went from promising to downright tragic in just a couple of years. Once homies, they soon became sworn enemies. What went wrong? Only one of them is alive today to answer that question and to tell their side of the story.
I ain't trying to hear your
So
side
who
of
is
the story.
Haitian
Fuck that
Jack?
nigga.
And how did he become one of Pac's greatest enemies beside Puffy and Biggie Smalls? Haitian Jack,
Fuck
real
Wyclef
name
too.
Jacques Anant, was born in 1963 in Haiti. He came from an affluent family with parents who had tight political connections. Jean-Claude Duvalier was the president of Haiti at the time. He ran a barbaric regime where his advisors were given free rein to implement various practices in order to assert power. Thousands of Haitians were mistreated, tortured, and killed. Hundreds fled the country, and many came to the USA in the 70s and 80s. But Jack's parents were privileged and had a high ranking in Duvalier's regime. But in 1986, President Duvalier was overthrown, and almost overnight the tables were turned. Duvalier and his family fled to France. Jack's family decided to move to the USA and start over. They settled in Brooklyn, New York, in the Bedford-Stuyvesant neighborhood. Jack's native tongue is French. He didn't speak any English. He was bullied mercilessly in school as a result.
As you should have been.
They would chase him all the way home after school. Jack was used to private schools and being highly privileged due to his family connections. In America, he was considered inferior simply because he didn't speak English and was different. He soon picked up the language and even began to make friends. Eventually, he earned respect from his peers. However, many of these kids were a bad influence, and he soon fell into the company of a bad crowd. But to Jack, this was better than being bullied. He was finally respected. The tougher he became, the more destructive activities he engaged in, the more he was accepted. The late 80s and early 90s was the height of the New York crack epidemic. There were a lot of dealers fighting for a piece of the pie. As a teen, Jack engaged in various criminal activities, robbing local drug dealers and even starting a robbery ring. Some even called it the Black Mafia. Walter King Tut Johnson was also part of this ring. King Tut and Jack were friends from the Brooklyn area. Jack went on to open his own barbershop in Queens, probably as a cover-up for his main income stream. His barbershop was near a popular hotspot, the Manhattan Proper Bar. This bar was frequented by celebrities. Jack rubbed shoulders with celebrities such as Mike Tyson, Shabba Ranks, Buju Banton, and even Madonna. In 1993, Tupac met Jack at the Octagon nightclub in Manhattan. They were introduced by a mutual associate. Tupac already had a couple of movies under his belt and a successful album. He was also going through the legal issue stemming from the incident involving the two corrupt police officers. Tupac saw the off-duty officers beating up a young black guy who they had had an altercation with. He intervened and one of them pulled out a gun that was allegedly stolen from the evidence room. Tupac, having a right to bear arms, pulled out his weapon and shot at the officers. They ran off and one of them was hit in the butt. Tupac got off for the incident. They were not supposed to be armed at the time, while off duty. In an interview with Hip Hop Wired, Haitian Jack said, I met Park at a club in Manhattan. The name of the club at the time was the Octagon. I was having a little party in there, and a friend of mine told me Park was asking who I was because he saw everyone sitting around me with a lot of champagne and a lot of women, a lot of guys. He was Who's that guy? My friend was like, that's Jack. Do you want to meet him? Park said, yeah, and my friend checked in with me first. So my friend came over to me and said, Tupac wants to meet you. I wasn't really familiar with him like that yet. I asked my friend, Tupac? My friend said, yeah, the kid that shot the cops in Atlanta. I said, oh, okay. I know who you're talking about. Bring him over and get him a drink. From that night, we started a friendship. He came and hung out with me at Scores, and we watched the Riddick Bowe fight, where the guy parachuted into the ring.
There's been a parachutist, a skydiver, who just landed here at ringside.
Hey, yo.
Tried to come into the ring.
They beat the shit out of him. God damn.
And there is chaos here at Caesar's Palace in the outdoor stadium.
We watched the fight in the VIP room of Scores. I got him a bottle of Louis XIII, Cuban cigars, and he was like, wow man, this is the life. I told him, this is the life I live, but I don't bring attention to myself. I do what I do with my friends, and that's it. I kept telling him, while he was on these New York streets, they do not like people who shoot cops. This is a cop state. The best thing for you to do is to stay in the studio, stay focused, do your music, and come check me when you're free. Because at the time, I was hanging out in Queens mostly. He said, cool, I'm gonna do that. But when I was around him, he started drinking, smoking, hanging around with these rap dudes. They took him a whole other direction, you know. The two of them bonded, and Jack gave Tupac connections to the club scene in Manhattan. They went to clubs together, hanging out in the VIP sections. They had the best seats at boxing matches and drank expensive cognac and champagne, costing over $2,000 a bottle. Jack is believed to have given Tupac his first Rolex. At the time, Tupac was preparing for his role as a New York gangster in his up-and-coming movie Above the Rim. He observed Jack while researching the role and is thought to have based his character on him. On November the 14th, 1993, Tupac and Jack went to Nell's nightclub in Manhattan. This was a celebrity hotspot that was not easy to get into. Even some high-profile celebrities were turned away at times. Here, he was introduced to a woman named Ayana, and this was the start of a course of events that led to Tupac's demise. 4 days later, Tupac, Haitian Jack, and Tupac's road manager, Charles Man Man Fuller, and another man were accused of rape. Jack's lawyer, who allegedly had ties to the New York Police Union, decided to separate his client's case from Tupac's. Jack pled guilty to a lesser charge and spent no time in jail. Tupac became suspicious of Haitian Jack around this time and would later go on to say he set him up. The following year, Tupac was convicted of sexual abuse but acquitted of the two more serious charges. His lawyer actually saw this as a victory, but Tupac received jail time. He was sentenced to 18 months to 4 years in prison. The only one of the defendants to receive jail time was him. He had grounds to appeal his conviction, so an appeal was pending. For the verdict, he attended court in a wheelchair and was heavily bandaged. 1 day before, he was shot at Quad Studios in New York City. On the 30th of November 1994, Tupac made his way to the 7th Avenue in Manhattan, where Quad Studios are located. He was with his manager, Freddie Moore, and friend, Randy Stretch Walker. He had just sat through deliberations for his court case just the day before. They approached the elevator, and 3 gunmen appeared, demanding money and jewellery. Stretch and Freddie complied, but Park allegedly cursed them out. 5 shots were fired, and $40,000 worth of jewellery was stolen. Tupac was dragged into the elevator for safety. He went upstairs and spoke to Biggie and Puffy like nothing had happened. Andre Harrell, who was in the studio at the time, described the scene in an August issue of Vibe in 1995. He said, that night, when I went to the studio, there were 3 sessions going on. There was Little Sean's session, then upstairs, SWV was happening, and on the other floor, Biggie Smalls, the Notorious B.I.G., was doing his thing. Hope was in the air, and success all around. Everybody was all excited about Park coming in, but we were starting to get antsy because he was supposed to get there at a certain time. And we wanted to see how this song with Little Sean was going to set off. When he got off the elevator, we were all standing in the hall. Tupac was just bopping back and forth saying, "I was set up." At first I didn't realise he had been shot because he wasn't bleeding heavily from the head. It looked like he had a fight. He said, "It's not going down like that." I was like, "Yo, Money, you shot. You need to sit down." He told Stretch to roll him up a spliff. He was in movie mode at this point. He did the whole James Cagney thing. I said, "Let's call the ambulance." I was basically the one who was taking care of the police and the ambulance people. I wasn't making any calls. I was directing the studio exactly who to call. So I was talking more to Stretch because the paramedics were looking at Park. There was no need for me to look at the wound. I remember telling Stretch, "You've got to go with him," because I wasn't trusting the police with Tupac. He had had too many open issues with the police. I was feeling like something could have happened between the ride and the hospital. I ended up staying in the studio till 4 a.m. because the police interviewed everybody and wouldn't let anybody leave. I tried to call the hospital when I was walking out of the studio to see if I could go by there. They said they were looking at him and nobody could see him. I was glad Tupac said he was basically through with the whole bad guy image and that he wants to redirect his energy. So I guess there was some level of positivity that came out from all of this. I want to go to see Park and just talk to him, see where his head is at. Because he knows what's real and what's not. And in the quietness of his mind, you know, he's dealing with all the truth. And for me, that's almost enough. During his time in jail, Park married his girlfriend, Keisha Morris, but the couple divorced almost a year later. In a letter to his friend announcing the divorce, Tupac wrote, "Dear Desiree, guess what? After 3.5 months of marriage, I am getting a divorce. This time it's final. By the time you get this, it should be done. My lawyers are handling it as we speak. Don't trip. I know you ain't. I'm not depressed. I'm happy almost. The jealousy and immaturity was too much. I hope you learn something from this. Jealousy can ruin a relationship. And if you have someone worth keeping, immaturity is a no-no. Well, I just wanted you to know, before the news gets out, come see me. Keep your head up, sweetheart. Be careful." Then ominously, he writes, "The Walking Dead, Jack Anant, Tut, Jimmy Ace," and he crosses out their names. Thugs don't die, we multiply. West Side for life, Thug for life, Tupac, bad boy killer. Phew, that's a lot. While Tupac was in jail, he had time to reflect on his mortality and how close he came to death. He was convinced that the quad studio shooting was not a robbery, but in fact, an attempted murder. His Rolex watch wasn't even taken. He saw the shooters, but never named names. But their alleged identities would later be revealed in one of his songs. He never released the song on his next album, but it would come to light eventually, sadly, in a posthumous album. Park was allowed out on bail while he appealed his conviction. The bail was set at $1.4 million. Suge Knight came through with the bail money on the condition that Tupac sign to death row. Speaking of the court case, he told Daily News writer AJ Benza that Jack set him up. He told AJ that Mike Tyson had called him from prison, warning him about Haitian Jack.
Well, I told Pac, man, I say, I don't know if I think you're out of your league right now. You know? Mm-hmm. He had asked me about Jack. You know, and I had known Jack through Scooter. And I said, you're out of your league.
In an interview, Tupac tries to distance himself from Jack, even referring to him as nothing but a hanger-on.
Yeah, well, he called me a hang-on. The funny thing about it, when Pac comes to New York, I'm the first person he calls and hangs on to me.
So you were offended when he called you a hanger-oner in the Daily News?
Yeah, I was offended, but I didn't think what he said warrants him to be hurt. Wow.
Jack denies setting Tupac up and admitted that the interview offended him and his boys, and that they, not him, wanted revenge on Park. They felt the article was really disrespectful, especially as it was on their turf in New York. That is enough to get someone killed in their world.
And he felt like Tupac had no right to say what he said about me, especially in New York City. And they wanted to discipline him.
Wait, what?
Nigga, fuck you. Nigga, fuck you. Nigga, this nigga talking like he tough or something. Nigga, get the fuck out of here, B. The fuck out of here. Who mans is this, B? Real talk, who mans is this, B? Fuck out of here, man. Who mans is this? Who? Like, no, like real talk, though. Like, real talk, though.
All you hoes, all of you hoes, need to remember who y'all talking to. It's the Slaughter Gang CEO. I got dick for living, not working, girl. If I'm busy, the fuck no. You need to find you someone else to call when your bank account get low. You need to find you someone.
Come on, man. Come on, man. You talking tough. You talking tough when a nigga passed away. You wasn't saying shit then. You wasn't saying shit when a nigga was alive, but you talking tough now. Niggas talk tough now when a nigga dead and gone. That's funny, though. That's funny, though. Lame ass nigga, bro. Fuck Haitian Jack, bro. Fuck this nigga, bro. Nigga's a bitch, bro. For real. Nigga was silent when he was alive, but when he passed away, nigga start talking shit. That's funny.
Hear me good, nigga. I'm here to double down. That shit is a 2-pack of ass. The fuck are you talking about? That shit stinks.
Nigga, fuck Haitian Jack.
Jack claimed that although they wanted revenge, he told them to fall back and leave Tupac alone because Pac was his friend. I don't put hits out on my friends, he said. He said most of them listened to him, but quote, there's always one, end quote. Jack has always refused to reveal who that one was. Tupac always maintained that he knew who shot him, but he wasn't going to name names or seek revenge. And we know that he also believed Biggie Smalls and Puffy were involved in setting him up for the Quad Studio shooting. And he saw the release of Who Shot Ya as confirmation of this. But the ones who pulled the trigger, he did not name. After his death in 1996, Death Row released Don Killuminati, The 7 Day Theory. A lot was revealed in the song Against All Odds. Not that Against All Odds, this one. The song Against All Odds reveals a lot and names names. Jack believes the song was never meant to be released and was simply a form of artistic expression.
He only got at Big and Puff. Big and Puff won't hit him up. He didn't get at me. He didn't say Jack did this, Jack did that. But as soon as he died, this song comes out. Now why didn't this song come out when Pac was alive? Because Pac knew was alive.
Nigga, Pac was planning to put this shit. Look at this nigga talking tough, bro. This nigga talking greasy with a nigga gone, boy. I can't stand niggas like that, man. I can't stand niggas like this, bro. I can't stand niggas like this, bro.
No, sir. Not me.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Oh, you motherfuckers. Okay. All right. I'm putting cases on all you bitches. Huh? You think you can do this shit? Jay! You think you can do this to me? You motherfuckers will be playing basketball in Pelican Bay when I get finished with you.
Y'all niggas talking tough from the sidelines. When a nigga was alive, you wasn't saying nothing. You was crickets, my nigga.
That song was never supposed to come out.
Lyrics of the song include Here We Come, Gunshots to Tut, Now You're Stuck, referring to Walter Johnson, aka King Tut. Walter Johnson is from Cypress Hill, a section of East New York and a neighborhood of Brooklyn. At age 16, he began to get involved in crime. This is when he was nicknamed King Tut. He was a co-founder of the robbery ring in Brooklyn, along with Haitian Jack. You could see why Tyson told Tupac that Haitian Jack was out of his league, meaning these were real street guys who knew nothing but a life of crime. Pac, although from an impoverished background, was more of an artist than a gangster. Perhaps he was out of his depth, hanging out with these sort of characters. King Tut was highly influential in the Brooklyn area, with local gangs and criminals. When he was a teenager in '82, he robbed 300 worshippers at gunpoint at his mother's Kingdom Hall. These dudes made Marion...
You ain't shit. You gonna rob people in church? You ain't shit, bro. But then again, the preacher is robbing everybody blind, so I mean... But if anything, though, rob the preacher. Don't rob the people in there. You rob the preacher. You take his car, you take his jewelry, you take his clothes, you take everything from the preacher. You take his money, his wallet, everything. You take his wife if you want to. But leave the other people alone. They in church, man. They trying to get their praise on. They trying to get right with God. And you come in, man, you ain't shit.
Suge Knight looked like a Boy Scout. In 1993, King Tut was charged and convicted of armed robbery after an incident at a barbershop in which 2 police officers were shot. He was acquitted of attempted murder, but his accomplice ended up partially paralysed as a result of the shootout that took place. Tupac would later go on to say he would die young and be killed by his enemies. AJ Benza said he also interviewed him as he lay in bed, injured from the Quad Studio shooting. Tupac told me he was going to die young, he said. I remember being at his hospital bedside after the first shooting, and he said, "Not this time, but it's coming." Another person who Tupac was associated with around this time was Jimmy Henchman, aka James Roseman. Referring to Jimmy Henchman in the song Against All Odds, Tupac raps, "Promise to pay back Jimmy Henchman in due time." The song was basically another hit 'em up. Nas and Puffy, aka Diddy, were also mentioned. In the letter to Madonna, who Tupac dated around the time of going to prison, he urges her to give him information on Haitian Jack, who she was friends with. He wrote, "Please be careful, Madonna. Everybody is not as honourable as they seem. There are those whose hearts bleed with envy and evil. They would not hesitate to do you harm. Let my 5 bullets be proof of that. P.S. If there is any information you can share with me regarding Jack and crew, please do. It could very well be a matter of life and death. Always, Tupac." No one was ever charged for the shooting of Tupac Shakur at Quad Studios in 1994.
Wasn't charged for the death either until more recently.
For both armed robbery and attempted murder in New York expired over a decade ago. In 2011, well after the statute of limitation for the crime, a confessional letter was published in allhiphop.com. Jimmy Henchman was named as the person behind the shooting. On June 16th, 2011, Dexter Isaac, who was serving a life sentence for murder in Brooklyn, New York prison, named Jimmy Henchman as the person who hired him to shoot Tupac. Isaac wrote, "He gave me $2,000 plus all the jewelry I took, except for one ring, which he wanted for himself. It was the biggest of the 2 diamond rings that we took. He said he wanted to put the stone in a new setting for his girlfriend at the time. I still had proof of the chain that I took that night in the robbery." He also claimed to have information on Tupac's 1996 killing in Vegas and even the murder of Biggie Smalls. He said he wanted to come forward to give closure to their mothers. Jimmy Henchman accused Isaac of being a government informant, but Isaac claimed it to be the other way around, saying he had documents proving that Jimmy helped the government arrest his friends in exchange for staying out of prison. He also claimed that Sean Diddy Combs was in cahoots with Jimmy Henchman. "Jimmy, you and Puffy like to come off all innocent, but like the saying goes, you can fool some of the people all the time, But you can't fool all the people all the time, he said. Jimmy Henchman's lawyer said the letter was just a ploy by Isaac to get out of jail early. All of a sudden, 17 years later, he's now looking to clear his conscience. He's looking to get out of a life sentence for a murder he committed that has nothing to do with this, he said. As for Haitian Jack and his response, he said, whenever it comes to Park, it feels like I'm blamed. I know who's behind it, and we'll get to that one day. But the person that's behind it is serving life right now. Let me tell you, man, whenever you go out of your way to get someone killed, put in jail, and slander their character, all those things end up coming back to you, especially a person who has nothing against you or has done nothing to you. After the Quad Studio shooting, Tupac actually went to Jasmine Guy's house to recuperate, and he was receiving messages from Jimmy Henchman. The person delivering those messages was Stretch, according to Napoleon Bill. Tupac and Stretch fell out after the Quad Studio shooting. Stretch was another person who Tupac didn't trust and believed set him up. In 1995, after posting bail, Tupac went on to release his album, All Eyes on Me. 2 tracks on the album, Ambitions as a Rider and Holler at Me, are believed to be diss tracks against Stretch. By the time the album was released, Stretch was killed in a drive-by shooting. After being chased by 2 men in a black car, he was the father of one. Nas revealed in the song A Queen Story from his 2012 album Life is Good that he was with Stretch in his van the night he was killed. However, Stretch had just dropped him off at his destination and had driven off alone. In 2010, Jimmy Henchman was arrested on charges of drug trafficking, money laundering and witness tampering. He was accused of fronting a bi-coastal narcotics trafficking empire. He also had a management company called Czar, which managed artists such as The Game, Sean Kingston, Brandy, Gucci Mane, Salt and Pepper and Akon. But I guess there's a lot of money to be made in the drug trade. After all, the music industry isn't as lucrative as it used to be.
Not at all.
In 2013, he was sentenced to life imprisonment. $14 million worth of property and cash were confiscated too. In the end, it was said that his image as a music mogul was simply a cover-up. According to District Judge Loretta Lynch, he was nothing more than a, quote, thug in a suit. He appealed his conviction but lost his case. As for Haitian Jack, he was deported in 2007 after shooting a man following an altercation in a nightclub. He now lives in the Dominican Republic. It doesn't seem like much of a punishment. He was basically sentenced to a permanent vacation. Benny Boone was said to be working with him on a movie about his life. Jack was also consulted on the movie All Eyes on Me. An interesting take on this was Napoleon Bill on Vlad TV. He said that in the music industry, whatever you say, you will be tested on. He said, as a rap artist and an African American who made it from the hood, you're always being tested, especially if you have lyrics. If they run into you, they're going to test you off your lyrics. You'll be tested for what you say. You're going to have to vouch for that one day. He also said that Tupac did change when he went to death row. His music became more violent, he said, because he was receiving death threats on a regular basis. So he went harder on his lyrics as a message to those who were threatening his life. The 90s were a crazy time, and many would argue that the emergence of gangster rap was quite destructive. However, others will say it was simply a reflection of what was going on in real life. Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts below, like and subscribe for weekly videos, and don't forget to click the bell for more.
Hey man, it is what it is, man. First thing first, RIP to Pac. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has something to do. I don't trust nobody in the situation. Pac said it best. Trust nobody. Trust nobody. I'm still trying to figure out how Haitian Jack got off on that goddamn sexual assault case. How does Tupac do 18 months in the pen, get an 18-month sentence for indecent touching? He didn't rape nobody. He got sentenced for indecent touching or inappropriate touching. How do you do 18 months for that? And these niggas was convicted of... No, bro. No, bro. It's... So, you could tell something's in the air, bro. Haitian Jack got something to do with it. He just ain't gonna say it because everybody has something to do with it, bro. Trust nobody, bro. Trust nobody. Pac said it best. Trust nobody, nigga. But anyways, though, that's just gonna about do it for this one, man. I will see you all in the next video. Fuck Haitian Jack. Fuck Jimmy Henchman. Fuck Bad Boy as a staff record label as a motherfucking crew. If you want to be down with Bad Boy, I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for your mother. But anyways, I'm just gonna about do it for this one, man. Fuck everybody. Fuck P. Diddy too, man. I'm still surprised this nigga ain't in jail yet, bruh. They need to put this nigga Diddy in jail. He clearly it's been said multiple times that he had something to do with Tupac's murder. If it's not only coming out of one person's mouth, it's coming out of multiple people's mouths. They need to put that man in jail. Diddy need to go to jail, man. We need we need healing for Tupac, bro. We just want some closure, man. As Pac fans, we just want some closure, bro. And seeing Diddy in cuffs and behind a jail cell would be more than better closure. But anyway, so that's neither here nor there, man. I will see you all in the next video. Till then, peace out.